Good evening, viewers, and welcome back to the Lall Show, where he tells it as it is. I am your moderator for tonight's program, Suan Wickham, and also here with us, of course, is Mr. Lall himself. During tonight's proceedings, if you'd like to call and pose a question, you can do so on 226-7453. I repeat, 226-7453, or send a WhatsApp message on 622-2222. Mr. Lall, what do you have for the people tonight?
Thank you, Suan. Josh, make sure I look good on this Facebook page, although I don't go on Facebook, I just have a little message for all of you. Wherever you go in life, go with love in your heart, hope in your soul, and joy in your mind. For love, hope, and joy will take you very, very far in life and in good spirits. Good night once again to all you beautiful and wonderful listeners across Guyana and around the world. Tonight, I don't know if I will have enough time, but I want to touch on two subject matters that has been on my mind since Wednesday. I wanted to talk about them on Wednesday, but for whatever reason, there were too many things I had to do. So I want to touch on them tonight. So please listen carefully as I begin tonight's presentation with all of you. I want to tell you how our opposition leader, Mr. Joseph Harman, and Comrade Ramjatan held a meeting with the U.S. Ambassador, Ms. Sarah Ann Lynch. The same people were the coalition blamed for kicking them out of office. This is what they discussed during the meeting. I plan to read and respond to them individually. Guyana's political opposition, APNU plus AFC, say them believe that the local media has been unhelpful cause them not help getting their message over. And because of this, both Mr. Harman and Mr. Ramjatan go and ask the U.S. ambassador to ferry their message to Washington, D.C. on a regular basis. Them tell the ambassador and the U.S. State Department that a large section of the local media landscape is unhelpful to them, the opposition. You guys heard me clear, okay? Guys, they're asking, and I wanted to know about this ferry the message to Washington, D.C. on a regular basis. When I heard it, I had to smile. I wanted to laugh and ask where this country going. I never know the U.S. Embassy got a ferry service walking from Guyana to the U.S. Josh, you laughing. What is the name of that ferry? Y'all please find out and call me. Thanks. Josh, please find out and let me know, because I want to use that ferry service because I have lots of message to go to Washington, D.C. Ferry their message regularly. That is what I tell the lady. I don't know what message they're talking about. You know, anybody can tell me that? The media don't have access to them. Them don't answer them phones. They don't respond to texts. Them don't respond to emails. Don't hold frequent press conferences. They are not available for interviews. It's what kind of message they really want the media to portray for them. I really don't know. And it's the same thing with the government. Them just tell you send your questions via emails. But when them respond, is for say how them busy. Them always busy. Them just purposely make themselves busy to evade answering questions about our wealth and this what's going on in this country. I have been asking so many questions on this radio program, and no one has ever responded and said, Glenn, I'm going to come and sit with you one-on-one and answer all the things you have been talking about. And you guys would have heard so many things I continuously talk about, and I have not heard a single word from any one of them. The opposition does hardly hold press conferences, and when them do hold one, is pure dirt, pure nonsense comes out of their mouths, nothing of substance. Them had about 15 press conferences, and them only talk about COVID, elections, dual citizenship, their court petition, the Henry brothers, and one and two other things, like defending them comrades who get in trouble with the law. And not one word on we oil, we gold, we bauxite, we timber, or no resources. Not a word about all them contracts what all of them sign that allow people to fetch away we wealth, like if it's them own, like if it's their transported property. All these mining contracts need to be released. I have been talking about so many contracts. I've been talking about the my contracts that is being held, needs to be released. Where is Harman and Ramjatan voices on these issues? Y'all carry it away or hide them? Or this set we have in government, stash it off somewhere. You guys can come out and tell us these things. These are the things the nation and every one of us sitting in this radio room would like to know. What are we? We are the people who own those resources. And I should dare ask, what you guys getting that we don't know about? Those are the kind of things y'all got to face this nation with. These are the things that y'all should carry to the embassy. The things y'all are keeping secret. Those are the things you should ask the embassy to ferry. Let the embassy ferry that on a regular basis to Washington. Tell Sarah Lynch how the people in this country can barely put food on their tables. Those are the things y'all got to ferry or talk about to get more media coverage or get media coverage we all want. People want to hear how they can benefit from their own wealth. They don't have to beg for it, Mr. Harman or Mr. Ramjatan. No. It's theirs. And we all want to know what y'all doing with them on these contracts that y'all sign. What's inside? Why are they being kept secret? Who's safe y'all hiding them in? Where it is? Every day the media asking those questions, guys. And no answers being provided. It's every time they can hurry there in we country, pumping we oil, digging out our gold, our bauxite, timber, and fetching away them. while many of our brothers and sisters are sending their children to school barefoot with empty lunch kits. Wait, man. Y'all ain't got a heart? Y'all ain't got love for your own people? Or is shame y'all don't have? Why all of you silent on the deals y'all make? What is going on? Tell us. Tell the supporters that voted for you, even if you don't want to tell your non-supporters. Tell them how you representing them. Don't tell the US ambassador. Tell your own people what y'all did and what y'all plan to do. If you don't want to tell the media, please don't go complain to the embassy about not getting media coverage. Stop it. Stop this nonsense. There are lots of questions to be answered. Every day I'm asking all of you to come on Kaieteur Radio. Come to the newspaper and let the media tell the nation. Let the media share your views. What you know that is taking place in this land. Half of the population are already living like dogs. Why, Mr. Harman? Why, Mr. Ramjatan? Mr. Irfan and Mr. Jagdeo? Why? Can somebody tell us something? All the damn projects y'all throw on this nation is messed up. We're not getting a cent from any one of them. Matter of fact, we're losing and still owe on the loans for those projects. You know, we're going to pay. We're going to be paying on those loans till we're dead. And we will get nothing out of all those projects. That is what y'all put us in. Debts and more debts. Please tell the US ambassador to kindly ferry this message to Washington, D.C. Tell us about the lands that Ogle y'all give away for next to nothing. Come and explain how y'all put our land, yes, our land, not yours, in people's name, and they didn't even know. Yes, they put 30 acres of Ogle land in a company name, and the owner of the company didn't even know that he wrote a letter. We did 2 stories on it. That the man said, I don't know about this. They passed the land over to the man, and the man didn't even pay. The man wrote a letter to them and said, take it, I don't want that. I don't want no land. In the fashion in which it was given to him. But you know what, Guyana? They put the land in the man's name because the man is a reputable man. And they just lump him in the group. So when people see his name there or his company's name, the Guyana will think, well, all right, well, everything is overboard. Everything was nice, clean, and good. No, the man said, no, I don't want things like that. What Harman and Ramjatan should explain, how 700 acres land on the west coast, on the west bank of the Demerara, land in people's hands, and in a jiffy of a time, them sell it back, make millions, I don't know how much, maybe hundreds of millions, and walk away. Explain all these things. Come on the radio. I am waiting, I am inviting you guys to come and talk to the country, talk to the people, let them know. Explain how you are paying millions in US dollars to BK International based on a threat in a letter or from a letter by a lawyer. Explain these things. Millions of US dollars on a threatening letter. And you guys are lawyers who've been running this land, the affairs of this country. Come on, explain these things. These properties and money that y'all give away willy-nilly like that belong to every citizens, every Guyanese. Is not y'all own to just take and sell and pay out? No, man. No. It's our wealth. It belongs to all of us. Every one of us too that is sitting in this radio room, including myself. I have a stake in it. I always tell people, every inch of land in this country, it's our transported property. Lall is a part owner of every piece of land. And all Guyanese are part of it. You guys remember how Harman promised a special oil conference. And after a barrage of questions, he came out months after and said David Patterson done talk on the radio. Yeah. One little panel discussion he had with my journalists and two other people that I played on Wednesday. If you guys missed it, my journalist had a Zoom conference, a meeting with Patterson and two other oil experts a while back. Now, a while back, the 31st of December. And I played what he said. What he said, I couldn't understand the man. It took me a whole hour to put together his 7 minutes that he talked about oil, to really understand what he was trying to tell Guyana and tell the people them. And the two oil experts who listened, see and heard how both of them put him to his place. A matter of fact, at one stage which you didn't see, which you couldn't see the video, he dung his head. It was like in shame. And his words was after he done big up himself, was like, y'all are the oil experts. I am nothing. He should have known them is nothing before them even dream for say he was the one who championed this gas to shore project without a feasibility study. And that is what Joseph Harman called a special oil conference. Guys, if you don't know this oil business, there are 10 trillion questions and 1 trillion ways in which the oil players, the oil companies can rob you blind. And 6 minutes, the man talk about just a project and oil done for them. That is the kind of leaders we have in this land. That's their oil. That's their press conference on oil. Guys, it's a shame where this land is going with these leaders. You guys really got to get up. You really got to wake up. You got to stop rocking in that chair and stop dreaming of a good life. You got to speak up. It's pure dirt. Whenever they open their mouth, you just be hearing. That is what y'all want to continue throwing in the ears and minds of the Guyanese people, Mr. Harman? No. No. No, guys. We will not accommodate in this media that kind of dirt you guys keep spewing. You guys gotta change that plan. You guys gotta change it. You gotta change that tune. It gone out of style. It's oldies y'all singing. You gotta change it and come with something else. Change that mindset. Y'all have to come with something tangible. Then we will be proud to accommodate y'all. It has been 30 years of rule by both the PPP and the PNC, and not a single word you're hearing from any of them about our resources. It has always been in secrecy. You don't know who's coming. You don't know what they're doing. You don't know what they're taking. You don't know what we're getting. You knows nothing. 6 years now we find oil. 6 years. Every single day we should have been getting a statement or a little press conference or hear a little word from any one of the opposition or the government about what is taking place with this oil that we have and our resources. And 6 years, if you ask me, there was no press conference, no talking, no nothing. As a matter of fact, our vice president, who's in charge of the oil sector, held a press conference since they come in. He talked 3 hours, and the reporters then wanted to sleep because he spew a lot of nonsense, carrying you wrong and wrong, wrong and wrong, wrong and wrong like a yo-yo or a bumper ball. That's what they do. You got to check what they're doing behind the scenes. Make them doing what they're doing now to us. We at Kaieteur News and Kaieteur Radio have been carrying thousands of stories how Exxon and them rest of oil players have treated us. What have you guys been saying? Nothing. I sometimes ask my staff if we have a government and an opposition in this land. They are foreign experts with hearts, good heart, bleeding for Guyanese over what was done with our wealth, especially our oil and gold. They have been begging, asking, demanding, giving you, the government and the opposition, the benefit of their experiences through the pages of the Kaieteur News and on this radio station and on many other online and all over. Guidance. And what happened? Not a single word you're hearing from any politician in this land. Every day this newspaper has a story or two informing our political leaders what to look out for, how to examine issues, and how to make money for our people. And what have they learned? What have they learned? What have you been hearing from them? You, the leaders, tell me, because Guyana has heard nothing from the mouths of y'all. All because you, who were elected to govern and protect us, have failed us. I conclude that. Lall conclude that you have all failed us. Me in particular. Exxon contractor sideline a Guyanese, although the man went and got an international partner for back him up, telling the man he ain't got no experience. Where is y'all mouth, Mr. Harmon? I talked about that Wednesday night. And guess what, Guyana? Brothers and sisters, ladies and gentlemen, the company respond right away today and say, this is their wording. This is what they're trying to tell us. They said majority of the people, what them approve is Guyanese. We will see. I will be looking out to see whether what they are saying is true or not. May I hear a word from any one of the opposition or the government though about disadvantage. Where are your voices, guys? It gone somewhere else? Who's looking out for this brother interest? Glenn Lall or the Kaieteur News? Wait, only the media? Are we the government or the opposition? Is you guys them elect? And you just get paid for look out for the people. But you guys not saying anything. We are exposing daily so much ills and wrongs, advantage being taken on our citizens by foreign people that y'all bring in here to fetch away we wealth. And y'all just throw back, reading, listening, and saying nothing, as if y'all fall in a coma. Many times I wonder and ask, whose interests y'all really looking out for? Your citizens or those foreigners? All y'all doing is just begging, like if that is one of the subjects them just teach in school. Y'all sit or stand up with the ambassador and her deputy talking a set of crap. Here's some more. Brothers and sisters, here's some more of what I begged the embassy for during that meeting. They discussed matters relating to governance, parliamentary democracy, and national security. What governance? What difference y'all make when y'all been in it? Everything the PPP did before and what they're doing now, y'all did the same thing during y'all 5 years. A matter of fact, I believe y'all 5 years outdo what the PPP did in 23 years. I can say for sure, y'all the more barefaced than Jagdev and Ramotar them. At least them used to try to hide it a little bit. But y'all do it in front every Guyanese face. I just have to name them one by one. And I would like y'all to come on the radio and let's have that discussion. Let us talk. I have a lot that I can talk about. Come and tell me and the nation what y'all did different than the PPP that this country and its people benefited from. Come here. Parliamentary democracy. Wow. Since when you guys have any respect for parliamentary democracy? You lost the no confidence motion and then turn around and refuse to accept its consequences. Y'all confuse my grandchildren when y'all tell the world 33 is not the majority of 65. My 4-year-old twins end up asking them teacher if what she's teaching is wrong. Could you believe that?
No.
Then y'all turn around and try to rig the election that you know you lost. And you guys got the nerve to complain to the ambassador about parliamentary democracy. The same lady who say y'all the cheating. Oh, come on, guys. As to national security, y'all should be ashamed of yourselves. Almost 3/4 of you guys came from the military background. What y'all did? Nothing. Crime was the same.
Yes.
Them cameras were Ramjatan put in. Cost we hundreds of millions of dollars. And ask how much working today.
None.
Every week, listen to this carefully. Almost every week, the police come by my office to see through my cameras who robbed who around the neighborhood or how this accident happened. Y'all got and guess this, they got a huge camera right next door to my office that can see the whole neighborhood, the whole Georgetown. But every time the police come, all you hear, boss, we don't think we want walk in, you know. Ramjatan spend millions, hundreds of millions, and it's not working. Y'all buy 5 drones for $180 million, and it can barely fly past maybe 10 feet. And you guys have the nerves for tell we that those drones can protect Guyana's border? Going to beg the ambassador for support? Beg? Oh my. You know, I hate to keep repeating myself. Let us have a fair share of our wealth that the foreigners fetching away, and we can have a crime-free country, Mr. Harmon, Mr. Ramjatan, Mr. Ali, and Mr. Jagdeo. When people have money in their hands to feed their children, them don't have to resort to crime. But when they are robbed of their own wealth, their own transported wealth, they are bound to resort to crime to survive, to eat. Ambassador or no ambassador can't help such a situation. She could ferry. How much message y'all want give her to take to President Biden? She boss. And crime will continue once people can't eat, can't put biscuits in their children's lunch kit for school. Crime will continue once people are hungry. And this is not nobody saying so. This is Glenn Lall is saying so from his mind, his body, his soul, and his heart. Because I know it. Harmon tell the ambassador, these are the things that affect Guyanese people generally, but specifically APNU AFC supporters. These guys can be serious?
No.
You guys can be serious? Hear this one. He also reminded the ambassador how the country should be put first. Guyana should put first. When I read that thing, I had a laugh. He said that is paramount. Country should be put first. fuss. I believe him. I believe you, Mr. Harman. When he was in office, his government really put Guyana first, eh?
Yes.
Yeah, man. Yes. Yes.
True.
And I guess y'all believe him too. Suan, you believe him too? Yeah. Just tell me yes, man.
No.
Mm-hmm.
No.
Them did everything to benefit our Willies. All of y'all Guyana. Them rent one Albaistong Bottom House. Excuse me, for $12.5 million a month for store drugs. Oh. Mr. Harman, a citizen benefit from that 12 million. That citizen really benefit. See?
Yes.
That is country first. We benefit. When Harman went on a private jet in China and said he been never collect the rest of the money, 5 million US, they owe for the GT&T shares, and he come back empty-handed. Guyana really benefit, Mr. Harman. Yeah, Guyana benefit there. And we benefit from the Durban Park project too. Why y'all spend over $1 billion? Who benefit there? Yes, the citizens of this country benefited. The Ocean View Hotel, what they now say, they renovate. They renovate. Paint it and put on something sheet and change some wall for over $1 billion to make it fully operational. It is now the COVID center. Wow. Who benefit? We really benefit from $1 billion, Mr. Harman. As for Bond, James Bond, and the East Coast lands, he's before the court right now. Yes, Guyanese, brothers and sisters, he before the court for the land giveaways that benefit all of we. Eh? I love it. I love it. Them even had a man who get arrested for barbershop chairs. What the new government had to go and take back from his house. Wow. It's some money he collected in the sledge project, so on. Yeah? As for the 10 billion in drugs, what them buy for benefit y'all, me and you, that end up expire and had to throw away, that is another story. Oh my. I could go on a year and talk about drug supply, how it benefiting all Guyanese. These are the type of things they say go benefit Guyana. I heard an African leader say, when greed, tribalism, ethnocracy, and nepotism encapsulate a group of people, no matter how rich they may be, they will never see their future. I love this man, and I love his words. This man had to be talking about our leaders in Guyana, not nowhere else. It just so them just behave. I am ready to take some of your phone calls. Please, and let us talk.
Okay, callers, if you'd like to call in and pose a question to Mr. Lall, you can call on 226-7453, or you can send a WhatsApp message on 622-2222.
We benefiting. Harman and Ramjatan said he's not getting enough. They're being sidelined by the media, by a big chunk of the media. Well, you don't have to go and complain. You just have to come. You guys gotta come. I am begging you to come. Hold your press conferences and let's talk. Don't complain. It's not so take the calls. Not so.
Hello, good night, Kaieteur News.
Kaieteur
Good
News, yes,
evening.
may I help you?
Yes, Mr. Lall, the blackout the whole of West Coast of them, Rara, when you program there, right now the blackout there, and they're like fairy lights, right? But I listening to the radio station from a cell phone. You understand? The whole, that's why nobody ain't gonna call in. The whole of West Coast blackout now with in darkness.
Well, you
There's
could-
how these people and the opposition, them sit down and ain't saying nothing. Them, they in this thing too. They get in the brown paper bag. You understand?
I hear
That's
you.
all I got to say.
Thank you. Thank
Yeah.
you. I hear you. I hear you. I hear you. Blackout. It's an old trick, man. It's an old trick. Those are old things. So, all right, if you say the blackout and we're not gonna get the cause, let me get down to the next topic that I want to touch on. It's very important, and I would like you guys to listen to me carefully. The second thing I want to talk about tonight is our GDP. Our GDP. You have phone calls? No?
Yeah.
Take it.
Caller, good evening. You're on TV Glen Lall Show.
Your mic is not on.
Caller, good evening. You're on to the Glen Lall Show. You lost that one?
All right.
You lost that one.
All right, just hold. Let me finish. I want to touch on our GDP. GDP is a language used all over the world. And it sounds confusing, and many people doesn't know what is GDP of a country. It means, very simple, gross domestic product. Very in simple language, it means all the things you produce and sell for the year, how much gold, how much timber, how much oil, and so on that you produce and sell. That is what that is used to measure the country's GDP. The World Bank and every government does use the figures to measure the growth of your country, so you will know how to spend and what you're spending your money on. Clearly, am I clear?
Yes.
Good, very clear. It's just like a household salary. When you add up everybody's money for the year, you get an idea of how you are going to spend and what you are going to spend it on. That's how simple it is. Every year the World Bank does do a special report on every country for see if they're growing or not with the things your country producing. That is what it is measure the GDP with. Every country does do them own checking for themselves, and them too does put out them findings, whether we grow up or whether we grow down, whether we produce more or we produce less than the last year. So you can predict for coming years or the coming year. Ashni Singh just said in a statement how Guyana is the fastest growing country in the Caribbean. He means we're producing more than all the Caribbean countries. Man, when you read that, when you see that as a citizen, you can't help feeling good. It's like smiles from your toenail to the tip of your hair on your head. You hear that? When you hear we growing, yeah, man, we're rich. The World Bank said how Guyana grew 43% last year. Guys, you got to listen to this carefully. The World Bank said Guyana grew 43% last year. And next year, you're going to grow more than 43%. Wow. Man, when you hear these things, you want to jump for joy. You feel like you're going to live in a mansion driving fancy car very soon. I know plenty of you already jumping for joy when you all hear about the growth rate Guyana climbing at every year. I myself happy when I hear these things. But I know more than y'all. If you hear your salary jump up 43% last year, and this year it planned to go up more, man, it's time for jump up and dance, eh?
Yes.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Joshua? Yeah, man. Suan, you happy? Yeah, man. Yes. Your country grew by more than 43% last year. And that's not a lie. This is the part that I want you guys to listen carefully. It is not a lie. But grow for who? That's the question. Your country grew, you produce more, but for who?
For who?
Not for me. Not for you. No. The country produced 43% more in goods and services, yes. But who getting the money, brothers and sisters? That is the big question. The figures are correct, 100% correct, but not Guyana getting all the money. In fact, when you really look at it, or them tell you the truth, Guyana getting next to nothing. It is recorded in the books. Listen to this carefully, Joshua. It is recorded in the books and all the reports. But who getting the real money? Not me, not you, not the government. It's the foreign people. Them is the ones that is filling their pockets with the hag of the country's wealth. And the more it grow, is the more them pocket grow. While we got to settle for the little fraff, the crumbs from we wealth, our own transported wealth. Let me give you guys a simple example what is playing out. If Omai dig up 100 ounces of gold every year, last year, and we get 2 out of that 100 ounces, it means them gone with 98 ounces. Not true?
Yes.
So the World Bank measure the whole 100 because that is what Guyana produce. You understand me, guys?
Yes, clearly.
That is what Guyana produced. 100 ounces last year, and then them predict more growth for this year. Maybe it will be double, 200 ounces, and Guyana will get another 2, and them gone with the other 98. That is how them does measure growth. Them gone with 2 sets of 98 ounces, and we get 2 sets of 2 ounces. That is how Ashney and the financial gurus and the World Bank does measure growth. Just another 2 ounces in another 100 ounces. Ashney Singh, in his budget speech couple months ago, used the same figures, listen to this, from the World Bank, telling us we country grew last year by more than 43%, and how it gonna grow more this year. Ashley said it's gonna grow this year another 20%. That is on top of last year 43% growth, which will take us to 63% growth in 2 years' time.
Yes.
You hear that?
Wow.
63% growth in 2 years. Man, we rich.
Yes.
Very rich.
Yes.
Call on the government to increase your salary. Call on Ashley Singh and Jack Dale. All this growing, man, where the money there? If you get 43% increase last year, and you expect to get an additional 20, where is money there? Is what you're getting from all of this growth. You know what you're getting? Fraff and crumbs. That's what we're getting. Yes, they might produce 200 ounces of gold, but it's what Guyana getting? A mere 4 ounces. But the GDP report says, yay, Guyana jump up by 43%. What did me and you get out of that 43% growth? Ask the financial guru. Ask them. Ask me my vice president. He's a top scholar in economist and financial money. He know everything. Is that happening here, brothers and sisters? That is exactly what's going on here. You getting nothing. And your growth growing. Guyana is growing. You know, and they are proud for put big headline in them paper that Guyana is the fastest growing country in the whole Caribbean. Like I said, it is true. On the books, don't get me wrong, on the books it is correct. But will the country receive or get that 63% growth? No. No, no. We will be producing tens of billions more with them 10 FPSO. And you will continue to get a few pennies more from what is being produced and sold. Nothing more, nothing less. Hear that? Nothing more, nothing less. So this fancy dream, your financial gurus, them putting y'all in, you need to wake up. You need to pinch yourself, hit yourself. It is all a dream. Don't hit yourself on your head though. You might get a stroke or you might fall off the bed and dead. Guyana, I want you guys to know, when you hear the World Bank, the IMF, the CDB Bank, and all them other big bank saying how Guyana is the fastest growing economy, is pure dirt them throwing at us to mislead us using those figures. And I dare challenge the economists and them financial gurus of this land to dispute what I'm telling y'all here tonight. Call me or text me. I want to hear from you. Last year, is oil what a measure to arrive at this growth them talk about? Yes. That gone in the books as records that Guyana did produce so much oil and ship it out. But who get the money? Guyana get 267 million last year, while the oil company them receive the billions in American dollars. We get in the millions and them collect in the billions. But like I said, it is recorded in the books as to how much oil Guyana produced and sold. Let me repeat, Guyana produced and sold. It's in the books, and that is correct. That is how them just measure your country's growth. Yes, that is how. You get next to nothing, and them gone with the real something. It's like you have a farm with mangoes, and Trump picked 100 last year and give your family 2. So he gone with 98. But it is recorded in your family book as 100 mango pick out and sell from your farm. Is that correct?
Correct.
Correct. But how much the family get?
2.
2. Trump gone with the 98. Your daddy and mommy proud. Proud of the 2 mango the family get.
They say we rich.
Yes. Your daddy and mommy so proud to say the family income growing. And next year, your daddy said we're going to double the amount of mangoes Trump going to pick. Man, if you see how mommy and daddy bigging up themselves, boasting how the farm going to produce 200 mangoes next year, which is correct. Which is correct. But he ain't telling the family how them only getting 2 more mango from the 100% increase, because it's Trump who going to get the next 98 mango. You see? So the fool showing off, running around the whole village, saying his home is the fastest growing home in the village. It's the same thing our governments keep doing. The same scenario playing out. They get 2 more and say, hey, we are the fastest growing country in the Caribbean. Yes, and the World Bank saying so. But they are correct. The mangoes is indeed they're picking it and they're selling it, but it's what a family get. It's what me and you get. You get me? Am I very clear?
Yes.
Right. That's how GDP is measured. You understand? So Trump with 200 with 298 and the family get 4. It's the exact thing happened in the oil and other resources we have here. That's how the World Bank and Ashley Singh them does measure your growth for Guyana. Yes, the oil figures will be recorded in the books and in the computers. But in reality, your nation, your country, your pockets would not and will never receive more than 2% or more than whatever percent you are to get. Your take is measured as, like in the oil, 2%. That is the contract we signed. You ain't got nothing more to get. Wait and see. Just wait and see what your lives will be. Because they're saying, pump, baby, pump. Take it, baby, take it. Wow. Guyana, what the World Bank report, the World Bank report says is 100% correct that Guyana is producing. But at the same time, it is misleading. They are not showing the world, what the country is getting from all our products that we're producing. They are not reporting on that. They are not telling the world how Guyana is getting pennies only. All they're saying is Guyana is growing. Yes, you're growing with a few pennies. Guyana is the best thing in the region. Yes, every year we're going to add another penny to the penny we're getting, and that is what they call growth for your country. The same World Bank report was said Guyana grew 43% last year, also said that Guyana do what 27 other countries in the region couldn't do. Them say Guyana make more money in 2020 than in 2019. And how Guyana do this even though the coronavirus was washing up, was mashing up, was scrapping up the place all over. But like I have said, this thing is a simple things, guys. Then just count all the barrels leaving the oil blocks, going out on their books. That's how they count them. And report that The reports say how Guyana recorded 43% growth and Ashley Singh conform it. Conform the 43%. Let me ask all of you this. Very simple. All of you. Any one of you have seen this country grown?
No.
Is your quality of life better?
No.
Has the standard of living improved in this country?
No.
Ask yourselves, why is this? When Ashley Singh and the World Bank and them saying how the country grew by 43%. Why? Why? Man, I want to hear from you guys tonight on these matters. My last show Wednesday, I didn't get to take much calls. But tonight, I don't know if I'll get any more because with this blackout, this man call and talk about. But I'll try to take some calls on this very important subjects, on how these financial experts, gurus, and financial institutions does use figures to fool people. So when you hear them politicians and financial gurus talk about how Guyana economy growing more than 43% last year, and how no other Caribbean countries reached that, think about where that figure really comes from and what it means for you. Think about where the money has gone and whether or not your life is any better. Let these leaders who are always thinking for us explain why in a year which we are doing so good, we had to borrow more money than we ever had borrowed before. You guys remember I talked 100 billion that they in the 2021 budget, they borrow it all over the place. Some came from the same World Bank. Yeah. We borrowing money to eat and live. Ask yourself this. Ask, with all this growing, how much we growing, why the finance minister got to go to the World Bank and beg for more money when the country grew 43% last year and it's starting to grow again another 20% on top of that next year. I just want y'all to keep your eyes on all this big growth what Guyana getting and see how much coming in your pockets or on your salary this month when you get paid. Yes, we produce more oil by the millions of barrels that worth billions of US dollars. That is true on the records or on the books. But check what Guyana getting as to what the foreign people getting. Check how much gold we will be exporting on the books and what we getting from it. Y'all must let me know if your lives have improved. Let me know if you're sending your kids to school with a full, half full, or empty lunch kits. Yes, them say 43%, and I expect this year to be more. Well, let us all wait and see. Let's wait and see if y'all's salary will raise 43%. And if your grocery bill gonna be increased with the 43%. We will all live to see this growth rate. What I'm saying is the fastest in the Caribbean, and we will look to see how our lives will change come next year. Before I end off here tonight to take your calls, I want to leave these words with you. It has said, poverty is not the absence of natural resources, financial resources, or human resources. It is the absence of leadership. Let me repeat that, please. Poverty is not the absence of natural resources, financial resources, or human resources. It is the absence of leadership. Good night, and I'll take your calls.
Remember, those of you that want to call, you can call 226-7453. I repeat again, 226-7453, or send a WhatsApp message on 622-2222.
It's very simple, man. Take the call.
Caller, good evening. You're on to the Glenn Law Show.
Good night to the panel.
Good night.
Good night.
Two questions. I got two questions and I want somebody else calling, right? Now, Glenn, over the years, we see politicians like killing this chicken. And after the last election, with the politicians, them with one side claiming that they're lost and after they give up, you really think they care about this? You really think the sitting government cares anything about the other side? And you really think that they got his country interest at heart? The second question is, who is the people that sit on the commerce, the chambers of commerce, and the profits of the chambers of commerce? Thanks.
Man, you ask me such a hard question. Sometimes, with all them things that I talk about, that's not a question for me to answer, brother. I have said it clearly. They are not speaking to the press. They are not saying anything. They are not even complaining about the government. The government not saying anything about the politician, about the opposition. They're all in the same bed, brother. It's me and you got to love each other and fight for each other. If not, we will perish together. I think it's Martin Luther King said that. Right? We bind together or we will perish together. They don't love this country, man. The things I've seen them doing for the last 26 years.
Caller, good evening. You're on to the Glenn Law Show.
Hi, good evening.
Good evening.
I do not know how is it that we can claim that our country is growing and developing and becoming better, but like you're saying, the livelihood of people, it is not visible at all. I will believe that our country is becoming better and our country is producing when I have more money in my pockets, when I can drive a better car, when the young people coming out of high school can get a job. But if we still have such a high unemployment rate, people's salaries aren't better. The price of nothing is going down, so I don't have extra money to do anything. How can we claim our country is growing and becoming better and is the number one producing country in the Caribbean?
That's a beautiful question. Instead we grow, we are going backwards or downwards. Gasoline price increase. We are the third largest oil producer very soon in this world, and we gasoline price
Is the highest.
keep going up.
Yeah. Yeah. What I do not understand too is this. I do not understand how can we be dressing up the country. They put nice lights, I like it, overpass and all of these things, but then people are practically starving. It reminds me of some people and how they live. Some people would dress up and walk on the road, and you think they're millionaires, but when you go to where they live, they have nothing. And so I don't understand the principle. I don't understand how they're going about showing people that the country is developing, putting lights on the road. The lights in our area, they're all blinking. I drove past the other night, and I want to know if Christmas come early. All the lights are blinking. These are brand new lights, just put up there a few months now. They're all blinking. You can hardly drive on the road. And so this substandard work and the cheap things that they're putting up, all of these decorative things, doesn't prove that the country is becoming better.
Development comes from profit. That is development. Development doesn't come from borrow money.
Correct.
And this is what our government, that's how our government understand business. Everything Everything you see they build in this land, they build it through borrow money, and they can't even pay it back.
Okay.
We all our loans we are sitting on, we have to be paying for. The Skeleton plant, the Borby's Bridge, the Marriott, the roads, the new bridge they're going to build. It's everything is borrow money.
Yes, the
They keep
production-
borrowing and
yes.
borrowing and borrowing.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
what?
fine.
Everything is falling apart. Nothing is success.
Yeah, the final point I
So
want-
development, what you're seeing and how they're doing stuff in this country is not development, man. They're borrowing money just to scheme off some and put up something and left the debt for future generations to pay. It's like Lall go to the bank and take some loans and just
Grandchildren pay it.
squander it and left my kids and grandkids to deal with it.
Okay, the final thing I wanna say is this: how is it that Guyanese leave Guyana, go to Trinidad to find work, and they happen to be the best carpenters, mechanics, builders, and everything in Trinidad, and they're in demand to do work, but the Trinidadians are leaving Trinidad to come to Guyana to do the work for Exxon? What's happening with Guyanese? Are they cripples? This is driving me crazy because I've been to Trinidad numerous times, and if there's one impression they left on me is that Trinidadians don't like Guyanese, and the competition is great. And so, if this is a project in our country, what's happening with our people? Why is it that our people cannot be getting these jobs? I do not understand that.
Sir, our leaders are to be blamed. They are brainless and they don't have a clue how to run a foul pen with couple foul. I have said many times, we found oil 6 years now. Many countries that found oil, including Trinidad, they put curriculum in school. They begin teaching children from nursery about oil, so that as they grow, when they reach working age, they can branch out into the fields. That's why you find so much Trinidadians are here now. They understand the oil and gas business because they have been in it for the last 100 years. But their oil has depleted. It came to an end. And that's all they know about. So here, Guyana find oil. Our leaders didn't tell us or try to teach us, try to educate Guyanese on how to handle and how to deal with oil. So the Trinidadians, them rushing here, you can't blame them. I would not blame them. And we need them to. Because we don't have the expertise. We don't have no experience in doing anything. It's like I earlier spoke about the Guyanese brother who partnered with an international company in the States to supply hat and vests. And they throw the man out, telling the man that he ain't got no experience in supplying vests and hats.
Okay, I heard.
So don't be upset with the Trinis.
No,
They are our neighbors.
Yeah,
And let me tell you, they have been there for us. You know how many Guyanese run away from here and living in Trinidad? Things were good. But where Trinidad is today, they're heading down the ladder because they didn't see their contract. They get messed up the same way we messed up with or even worse. We have a worse contract. So they're feeling the heat right now.
Yeah,
So they're running helter-skelter everywhere to make a life.
I just learned
Upset
that
with
the
them.
Trinidad company is supplying food for Exxon. You don't need a degree to buy groceries, put it in a container, and take it out to the ship. So these things must be irritating Guyanese because I don't need to go to school to learn that. Anybody can do that.
Hold a second, brother. Again, I want to touch on that. We are not prepared. We are not even a 0.1% prepared to handle or to deal with oil because our leaders have not been saying a word to us. They should have been the one educating us, having school, lectures and and sending out messages and teaching us how to get prepared. Instead, Glenn Lall have to come on the radio to tell you, listen guys, in the oil industry you will need this, you will need that, get yourself prepared, start schooling yourself on welding, underground welding, and all these things. Your government, they're elected there to look out for the interests of the people, but instead they're saying nothing. This is why Trini, Israelis, US, Canadians, everybody running coming here, because they see we can't do anything. They should have been the one helping us, but nobody helping us.
Okay.
So you can't be upset when you see the people here, the people doing the work that we can do, that we don't know of.
Okay.
And now, if you ask 99% of Guyanese, they don't know what to do. Look, you talk about supplying food to the rig. When Exxon begin start up the operation, they used to import beef from Miami. Beef. Because we don't have enough to supply. And our country, our leaders, never come out and say, listen, you guys got to start rearing animals, because there will be a tremendous need for beef, for sheep, for goat, for chicken on the oil rigs out there. Not a word you hear from them until now.
True.
So all of us Guyanese sitting down, hoping and dreaming that, this oil money gonna fall from the sky into the bank books and into their pockets. No, you're not gonna get anything from the deal. And the little what we should be getting, nobody telling us what to do. Mm-hmm. You have supply centers. This country needs many more supply centers, shore bases. That's the only thing I ever heard the government talk about. We will need more shore bases in this country. That's all they're saying. Yeah. And shore bases call for big money. So they're talking only to people with big money. The ordinary man, there's lots for you to get. But they're not teaching, they're not telling you anything, my friend.
True.
That you can do to benefit from the sector.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Mr. Glenn, for your program.
Thank you.
Mr. Lall, you have anything else you'd like to say to the people?
No, I'd like to just tell the opposition leaders we are open. We are very, very much open. We are at a phone call away. All of you guys have my number, 624-6456. I don't answer it in the night, especially after 12 because I'm sleeping. But I'll answer it. Come, we are ready to accommodate you. You don't have to go to the US to beg them to ferry your message to Washington, D.C. Come here, talk to us, talk to the media, have your press conferences, and we will take your messages. We will ferry your message, not only to Washington, D.C., but to the entire world. Because our radio, our newspaper reaches all part of the universe. As for the financial gurus, guys, you got to come out clear and tell this nation, stop hoodwinking this nation. Let people know that growth, what is there when you talk about 43 and another 20% growth, and how Guyana will be the fastest growing, you all need to come out and tell this nation what a growth means to their pockets, to their salaries, to their children's life and future. Let me say good night to all of you. Thank you for listening, and may God bless you all. Have a great night.